Here's your wrestling news for October 2nd, 2021, and your headlines for today include exclusive news on Charlotte Flair going to SmackDown in the WWE Draft, real reason behind Brock Lesnar's announcement of being a free agent during 2021 WWE Draft, Edge makes reference to FTR during WWE Smackdown, what's up with Kevin Owens' booking, what's next for the former Universal Champion, which brand won Night 1 of the WWE Draft, Hit Row appears before WWE Smackdown, and more. We're starting off today with SmackDown, as the annual WWE Draft was the focal point of the entire 2-hour show. After months of build and anticipating with significant surprises promised, Night 1 didn't disappoint, as Raw and SmackDown have changed dramatically with 24 superstars chosen across the first 4 rounds. Everyone from top champions to high-profile singles competitors, well-established teams, and even a Hall of Famer was chosen in what was arguably the most star-studded draft of all time. Any and all draft picks won't go into effect until the October 22nd SmackDown, the night after Crown Jewel, and any superstar not picked after Monday's Raw will be free agents, free to sign with whichever brand they choose. SmackDown scored a huge win in the first round of the 2021 draft, selecting Raw Women's Champion Charlotte Flair. Instead of choosing SmackDown's Women's Champion Becky Lynch, Raw next chose Bianca Belair, and we now know why the top woman on Raw is heading to Team Blue. In an exclusive from Wrestling Inc., it turns out that Fox specifically requested Charlotte for the draft, but there's no word on what the plans are for either the Raw or SmackDown Women's Championship. After the show, which ended with Lynch and Flair holding up their respective titles, the man tweeted that she isn't eligible to be picked until Monday's Raw, meaning she could be moving back to the Red brand after all. It's also possible that Belair could take the SmackDown Women's title to Raw should she win in Saudi Arabia, and hopefully we won't be waiting long to find out the fate of the 2 main roster singles women's titles. Night 1 of the 2021 draft dramatically shook the rosters of both Raw and SmackDown, but Brock Lesnar isn't worrying about either show. Right after the Universal Champion Roman Reigns was drafted to SmackDown, Lesnar confronted the Tribal Chief and a brawl ensued, which saw the Usos taken out with a series of German suplexes and a pair of F5s, as Reigns and Paul Heyman watched from the ramp. An understandably irate Reigns ordered Heyman to go to next week's Raw in Nashville, which will be Night 2 of the draft, and ensure the Usos stay with him on SmackDown, and gave his cousins similar instructions, telling them to make sure Heyman keeps the bloodline together. During a backstage segment, Jeff Hardy was having a backstage interview with Kayla Braxton before he was interrupted by Brock, and after a mutual nod, Hardy left the spot in a hurry. Lesnar went on to cut a rare promo of his own, in which he thanked Paul Heyman for being his advocate, and the Beast announced that he's now a free agent, meaning he can go wherever he wants and do whatever he wants to. It's interesting that Brock interrupted Jeff in this pre-taped segment, as after his 2002 debut, Lesnar's first feud was against the Hardys, and his first pay-per-view match saw him crush Jeff at Backlash 2002 before he'd go on to do the same to his brother Matt. PW Insider adds that Brock left the arena after his attack on the Bloodline during the opening segment, and that his backstage interview and run-in with Jeff was pre-taped. Lesnar, as a free agent, falls in line with WWE wanting to keep both network partners happy, as Brock has major mainstream appeal and his star power can be shared on Raw and SmackDown. If there's any weakness in Lesnar, it's his mic skills, but even they have improved, as Lesnar's promo showed he can be really entertaining on his own. And going forward, he doesn't need Paul Heyman. Even if Brock goes on without Heyman, Lesnar will let his actions do the talking, but it's useful that he can still cut a promo that catches the attention of fans, especially with how rare they are. Lesnar on both shows means that his WrestleMania options are wide open, as regardless of what happens with Roman at Crown Jewel, he could always show up on Raw closer to Mania for the Dream match with Bobby Lashley, if the Almighty is still a Raw superstar by this time next week. It should come as no surprise that the part-time Lesnar is immune to the draft, and while he'll be preoccupied with SmackDown's Tribal Chief, it won't be long before the Beast comes to Raw. Last night's SmackDown also marked the return of Edge, who had a taste of his own medicine this week. 15 years after he invaded the home of John Cena, Edge had no choice but to watch on as Seth Rollins entered his house and made himself at home. On the phone, Edge told Beth Phoenix that Daniel and David were on their way, and although it was subtle, this is actually a reference to AEW's FTR. This reference was to the former Revival's real names, as Cash Wheeler and Dax Harwood are Daniel Wheeler and David Harwood respectively, and are real-life good friends of the Rated R Superstar. On Twitter, Harwood confirmed the reference, saying he'd head over to Edge's house and beat Rollins up, and shared a gif of the top guys riding into the Daily's place in their black truck. The respect between these three led to a real-life friendship, and although this reference went over the heads of many fans last night, Edge has one of AEW's top teams on his side. In 2016, Kevin Owens was virtually untouchable in WWE, becoming the second-ever Universal Champion, but a lot has happened over the past 5 years. Most recently, Owens continues to be embarrassed by Happy Corbin, who defeated the prizefighter this week, and it may be a sign that the former Universal Champion's days in WWE may be numbered. Anyone who follows Owens on social media knows he recently teased a reunion with Mount Rushmore, the stable he once had with Adam Cole and the Young Bucks prior to WWE. With 3/4 of the stable now in AEW, it only makes sense that Owens goes all elite when his time on SmackDown is up, which would explain his booking and the way he lost to Happy Corbin this week. With such bad booking, it's almost possible to forget that this man was once a Universal Champion, with pay-per-view wins over Roman Reigns to his name. Happy Corbin, as his name suggests, is doing far better, and we have to praise the Lone Wolf for his selflessness on TV. Whether it's Riddick Moss or the Knights of the Lone Wolf, Corbin has always been willing to give the rub to deserving talent, sharing some of the heat he always got from the crowd. We're not sure if Madcap Moss is the best name for his latest partner, but we're pleased that the talented Moss is at least getting TV time again, with a prominent name by his side. After Night 1 of the 2021 WWE Draft, the company would like fans to think that Raw and SmackDown have been split evenly so far, but that isn't the case. If you look at the acquisitions so far, Raw is in the clear lead, and by the end of Night 1, it was speculated that the entire draft's purpose was to boost the Red brand's falling ratings. Sure, Raw may have lost their women's champion Charlotte Flair, but we're sure the title itself will go back home soon enough, and in the Queen's place, Monday nights gained Bianca Belair, whose popularity has skyrocketed this year thanks to her wins at the Royal Rumble and WrestleMania. The EST will instantly become a top woman on Raw, and depending on how WWE handles the Raw Women's title, she's the clear favorite to win the title in the future. Raw also scored with Edge in the draft, which also marked his return, and the Hall of Famer's intense feud with Seth Rollins will likely end before or at Crown Jewel. SmackDown seemingly has plans for Rollins, so it's unlikely he'll be moving to Raw with Edge, meaning their feud should end this month. Like Belair, Edge has been a huge draw for SmackDown in 2021, thanks to his compelling stories with Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins, and who knows what his next feud will be. Perhaps a return to his program with Randy Orton is possible, or even a dream match with AJ Styles, or maybe just the Hall of Famer's 12th world title will come at the expense of WWE Champion Big E. Raw delivered a severe blow to SmackDown when they drafted the Mysterios to Monday nights, who will be able to continue their ongoing storyline, as the father-son duo try and work together and mend the issues between them. Rey and Dominic's work with the Bloodline has been nothing short of fantastic, and their move to Raw, which could see them feud with RK Bro, is a much-needed change to bolster the Red brand's tag division. That's not to say SmackDown didn't have their own wins, as their most significant drafting saw them retain Universal Champion Roman Reigns and draft Raw Women's Champion Charlotte Flair and the former WWE Champion Drew McIntyre. All three are great picks, but that can't compare to the success of Raw, especially when you analyze the two names joining Team Blue. Drew McIntyre may have been the hottest star of 2020, but in recent months he's cooled off significantly, as fans grew tired of him in the main event, something that hasn't happened with Roman Reigns. After their war at Survivor Series 2020, a Reigns-McIntyre feud could be very exciting, but it's hard to see how Drew gets to that position. With Reigns preoccupied with Brock Lesnar and possibly Finn Balor, there's little room for McIntyre in the Universal title picture, especially considering he has zero momentum at the moment. It may take McIntyre some time to win over fans once more now that he's on SmackDown, and if so, he lacks the immediate impact that those drafted to Raw will bring. As for Charlotte Flair, she's one of the best female wrestlers in all of wrestling, but if Night 2 of the draft goes like Night 1, she may have far fewer names to share the ring with. Losing Bianca Belair to Raw, Flair now has Becky Lynch and Sasha Banks to work with on SmackDown, but either woman could also be on Raw by this time next week. Flair is great, there's no doubt about it, but it takes more than just one great performer to make a division. And if WWE does move its top women to Raw, she may be left feuding with names far below her on the totem pole, or having the same feuds with Banks and Lynch fans have seen before. What do you think of the first night of WWE's Draft, and who do you think will move in Night 2? Let us know in the comments. And we're ending with more draft news as Hit Row was called up to Friday Night SmackDown last night, something that had been rumored earlier this week, and fans in Baltimore got a preview of the stable before their call-up. Prior to SmackDown, Top Dollar competed in a dark match where he defeated Cedric Alexander in a big moment for the Baltimore native. Even before the match, Hit Row's work on the mic was well received by the crowd as things look bright for the latest group of SmackDown signings. Well guys, that's our news for today. Please share your comments below. Also hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, and hit the bell icon to receive all notifications. And as always, thanks for watching.